Hold on. Hold on. Can they turn the mics on? Can you get a hot mic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, Causenetic family?
Welcome back to another episode of the Causenetic podcast, live here at General Assembly 2023.
Powered by the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas.
Causenetic means being a person or thing that gives rise to a phenomenon that is dynamic or energizing.
Hey, we're tackling topics and telling the truth.
I'm Rodrigo Ross.
And I'm Keith Vince.
So today,
come on.
Let me tell y'all something right now. Give me a second, Suzanne. Let me tell y'all something. How I am personally winning today.
You winning?
You know, when they were setting up the stage, Keith gets on the stage and he comes and makes his way to this chair. And I said, sir, I'm going to stop you there. I'm sitting the closest to every guest today. And it was for this very reason, right? Because I knew what the lineup was. I am so super excited. And this is not even our first time talking. This is our second time. Yeah. If you all are so interested, you can go back through our archives and listen to Cupcakes and Cough Medicine.
And that would be episode 114.
That was oddly specific. You know that?
Yes, I do. Do you not know all the podcasts?
Yes, I knew that.
Oh, but you so excited to sit beside the superstar, but you
can't.
Yes,
because I want to get to this episode.
Okay, well, come on.
This episode
because you really need to explain this episode.
This episode, for those who don't know, I get the amazing task of naming the episode. Very rarely does it relate to what we're talking about. I usually like the name because of the shoes I had on that day. I don't know. But this episode absolutely relates to this amazing, legendary leader. It relates to the theme of the multicultural experience, be a leader, leave a legacy. Today's episode with none other than Susanne McCormick, President and CEO of the YMCA of the USA, is called 17,064.
Is that how many steps it takes to get from here to the hotel?
That was it. You know what I think about? That's exact. Let me look at my, that's what the steps said.
I brought my suitcase down because I think I'm just spending the night down here. That long walk over there.
That's not it.
You should have seen me walking home last night.
Right.
I can imagine. I saw you over. I think I left here and then I saw you over there. I was like, well, how she beat me over here?
Yeah, we're not. That's a different podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
But it's called 17,064 because that is the number of hours that you have been making history up until this very moment that we are sitting on this stage as the first female president and CEO of the YMCA of the USA. 17,064. I used the calculator on my phone. I didn't carry the one on paper.
Yeah, because we know you can't add that.
I did. And so we just wanted to celebrate that. Sometimes you just got to put the celebrations in the space, lead with it, and we wanted to lead with that for our time today to celebrate and talk about all the things that you are doing, you want to do, the things that you are still excited about. Sitting in your seat. Welcome back to the Causenetic podcast.
Now before we dive in, though, I just want to follow up. How's my man Jack doing?
Jack is doing very well. He is in Syria right now.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Jack lives an amazing life.
Well, he's in the Army.
I mean, he is really, wow.
I don't know if that's,
he's not out there sightseeing, but I'm saying he.
For those who are wondering, Jack is her son.
Jack is her son.
Jack is my son. You will hear me say tomorrow. He serves in the Army 75th Ranger Regiment, and he's currently in Syria. And probably against all rules, he has sent me some pictures. He's given me a lot of he's been driving a lot of people around, and he's been sending me photos of things like chicken shawarma, and it's a local food.
It's cool.
Along with
other things classified secret service
keep soldiers,
sure,
occupied.
Right. that kind of stuff.
Because service is a real thing to you.
Yeah, it is a real thing.
And you started out in Peace Corps, right?
I did. I started out as Peace Corps volunteer right after I graduated from college. Although actually I did have a little stint. I was waiting to get in the Peace Corps, and this is an important part of my story because I graduated a semester early from college, mostly because I had been working my way through college and didn't want to pay for another semester.
Makes sense.
That's a good tactic.
Yes, it
Yep.
was.
Yep.
And I was ready to be done.
Yeah.
And my sister was working in Breckenridge, Colorado as a ski instructor. And so I moved out to live with her. And that's where I actually, during those 4 months that I was waiting to go to the Peace Corps, is where I met my husband-to-be, Bill.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I left for 2.5 years, and I said, let's meet for a beer when I get back and see how things are.
See what happens. And here we are, 2023. I love it. I love it. And so I've had the opportunity to hear you in different spaces talk about how you have weaved this idea and this desire and this passion, right? How you've anchored it in all the service that you have done over the course of your career. But in your 17,064 hour, how is that showing up for you here at the YMCA?
The YMCA is the epitome of service.
It is.
I think.
Right.
In fact,
it's there couldn't be a more tangible, vibrant, like literally colorful example of what service looks like.
Yeah.
And everything that we've seen on the big screen over the last 2 days, the story of our history and how Ys are showing up in the areas of mental health and taking care of young people. The family we saw on the stage today from the Ukraine, and how all of our Ys in the United States have galvanized around our family members in Ukraine and supporting them.
Yeah.
I mean, Y professionals are the epitome of service.
Yeah.
And I say every chance I get, I've never, of all the organizations that I've worked for, and I've worked for some great organizations, I've never been more proud to work for one more than I am for the YMCA, because of what we do. Like the impact and the magnitude and the scope and the scale it really is beyond all others.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been journeying around, I mean, going through many different Ys. What are one or two movement moments that you've had, like this is like, wow.
Damn, Keith, like I got a keynote tomorrow. You want me to give up my material?
You saw what he tried. You saw he's trying to get all the cheat codes. All the cheat codes.
No, okay, no cheat codes. No, I didn't mean to step in there.
I have so many stories. I could. There are, and actually, this is another opportunity to tell some more, because I will share some stories tomorrow, because I have had the incredible good fortune of getting to travel around not only this incredible country and seeing Ys in action, but also around the world.
Yeah.
I'll give you one of my recent trips. Well, actually, I just ran into some folks from the Y of the North. I went the Y of the North. That's like, do y'all know the Y of the North? Minneapolis, St. Paul think they own the North. Like they call themselves
Y of the North.
I tease them all the time. I'm like, that's a little presumptive. But,
all this up here.
All of the
as
North.
soon as you say it, we all know exactly who you're talking about
I
too,
know.
right? So
it's like Game of Thrones for any Game of Thrones
I like
fans,
it though.
right? But I did. I had a good visit there, and got to see a real variety of the different things that the Y of North is doing, including their Equity Innovation Center, and got to spend some time there, and then also got to go out to one of their camps. I got to ride a horse for the first time, go horseback riding, which was
that
really
was your
fun.
first time horseback riding?
Oh, no. I went horseback riding as a kid.
I was like, you lived on other continents.
No, it's the first time I've ridden in a really long time.
Gotcha.
But I'm telling you, they put me on an old horse. It was insulting. It was. They're like, he's the nicest horse we have. And I'm like, you're saying
come on now, you're the president, so like we can't. You're the president, so we can't just like.
And they don't want that. They don't want that smoke. Like they were the ones.
If she would have came there, we probably would put her on one. You know.
Why you gonna put? I wouldn't have got on. Well, it depends on what kind of boots I was gonna wear.
There was just such variety there, and one of the things I loved about that visit was the Y of the North has a lot of camps. I mean, they've got the whole portfolio of what we do, but they've got, I think, like 17 camps.
Wow.
And I'm a big camp fan.
Yeah.
I went to camp all the way from 3rd grade through high school, and what we know is that camping has some of the best youth development outcomes.
Absolutely.
And the really cool thing they're doing there is they are really intentional about making camp accessible not just to kids who can go to camp, but they're bringing camp into their urban centers and creating camp experiences.
Yes.
Which I just thought was a great model.
Love
Because
it.
we all know, like, we'd love every kid to go to camp, but
Right.
every kid doesn't get the
And
chance to
does
go
not
to
get the
camp.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a
Absolutely.
great trip. I was in Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay.
And one of the things I loved about that visit, a standout for me, is they have a real focus on the indigenous community close by. They have, I won't be able to pronounce the name of the indigenous tribe that is the homeland of Duluth, but they have the signage of that language throughout their Ys.
Wow.
That's the first time I've seen that, and they teach it in their child development center as well.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So they're really trying to help build bridges in their community.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And so I keenly remember when you started and hearing that your first course of action was to really kind of go on this listening tour, right? And I was like, she's a genius. Like, she cute and she a genius, right? To just go and listen to people and hear what the Y should be doing past that little thing that happened called a pandemic, and people were grappling with the next iteration of what the Y should be, and civil unrest, and the model that we have been following for decades being turned on its ear, and a brand new president and CEO. And then they were like, what's your strategic plan? And you were like, I don't know, you tell me, right? How did those conversations influence the amazing things that seem to be coalescing from you and your team today?
They've influenced everything that we are doing as a team today. I mean, we were serious when we said we're going to focus on what you say is most important to you.
Yep.
And the three things that consistently we heard in the movement, that people want help making sure that their programs and their operations are excellent, that we're all delivering the highest quality that we can, because that's what gets the outcomes and creates the change in people's lives. So that's number one. The second is that they wanted help with training and staff development.
Wow, okay.
So recruiting,
Yep.
staff retention, and then this whole area of learning and leader development,
Yes.
and especially our multicultural leaders.
Yep.
And we are trying to organize ourselves, everything we do, around those things.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are really excited, and I hope if you haven't gone by the booth, you will. We've been looking at some of the future trends, macro trends like changes in education and changes, we all know the changing workforce and mobility and the transience of populations, and like, what is that really going to mean for Ys in the future?
Yeah.
If we saw so many people move out of cities, because people aren't working in cities.
Right.
So what does that mean for Ys, and how the other big area I think that we're focused on in addition to that is, as we've heard this week, like the enormous social impact of mental health.
Yes.
Especially on young people, and what is our role to address that? And I think it's in those areas of what's the future of education look like, what does the future of community look like, what does the future of mental health look like?
Yeah.
That's the space that we have an opportunity, I believe, to create our next bold vision for ourselves. But we want to do that with our movement leaders.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own ideas. I'm going to share some of them tomorrow, but we got to do it together.
Yeah, this idea of co-creation. I love that. I love that.
So we're just teasing just a little bit of what to expect for tomorrow. So you got to make sure y'all in the seats to hear this dynamic. So I'm gonna stand out the way and try not to step on those questions right there, because I was warned, like, keep your mouth shut now. Don't be letting the lady talk about all
And
this
you didn't
stuff.
listen.
Okay.
You didn't
okay.
even listen.
It's all good.
There'll be some new stuff tomorrow.
You come in this seat right now, and nonprofit Times recognize you as a top. I mean, like 2 years in a row. I think we're going for a third year. Oh, excuse me. Well, she said 3 years. All right now.
You better carry the one key.
Okay.
Do your math.
So what's that like for you personally, to be in that seat, to know that you're recognized and have that level of influence, not just within our movement, right, but across the United States?
I'll tell you, the only reason that I get recognized is because of the organization I lead. And the organization I lead is made up of the people of the organization, and I'm just one little person in that organization, and so I get recognized because people recognize and believe in the YMCA. And I just have the privilege and honor of sitting in the seat that sometimes gets that recognition, but it belongs to everybody in this room. It belongs to everybody in this exhibit hall. It belongs to everybody across our movement who every day show up and do the hard work.
Sure.
And oh my God, I was visiting a summer camp 2 weeks ago right outside Chicago, and I was hanging out with some of the camp counselors, and that is God's work.
Yes.
It is God's work.
Yes.
Day camp counselors.
Yes.
Like 10-hour days.
Yeah.
With 6 and 7-year-olds who don't know how to put their bathing suits on frontwards or backwards.
Don't have filters. That's why you look like that. Like,
the day I was there, the day I walked up under this pavilion to spend some time with them, there was a little girl. Her name was Savannah. And she had taken one of the ice packs out of her lunchbox and somehow managed to like tear off a corner and you know, it looked like a Capri Sun, and drank some of them. And so it was, they were all in the walkie-talkies, they'd called poison control, and Savannah hung out with me for like the next hour. I rode up with them when we took her to the nurse's
Savannah,
office.
come on, girl.
And I left and I was like, Savannah, stay away from the cold bath. Like, she was fine.
That's not what you think it is, Savannah. I was like, surely I could do what the counselors do. You know what? Take you a minute. I'm going to take care of your class. All I had to do was take the 5-year-olds to the restroom and bring them back. I didn't make it. I was flagging people down on these. Somebody help me. I mean, these babies gave me their opinion on the state of the United States, what I had on, why am I that tall? Folks are angels.
And they deserve the recognition.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
I'm sitting in my office working. I'm standing up. Little kid walk. He looked like Bernie Mac.
That baby was not wrong.
What you know about Bernie Mac? Bernie Mac done gone rest in heaven. And what you know about Bernie Mac?
I'm telling you, these kids.
And then, don't talk about the bicycle giveaway. So we get the call, hey, we want to donate some bikes to y'all. Oh, cool. So me and Rob, we coordinated.
What's for the baby?
Hey, we brought the counselors, y'all bring them down to the hotel. So now we're in camp mode because we got responsibility of the kids because they at the event that we had. Oh, Lord, about 15 minutes went by.
I said, how long this event gonna be?
Come on here and get y'all group. I ain't
somebody get these babies with these bikes. They looking at us like
that stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a thing. So bless you for hanging out with Savannah, eating cold packs on that day.
Hey, I got to leave after a couple of hours. So no one should thank me. It was those counselors that stayed till 6 o'clock when Mom and Dad.
So you know that it was the end to this one right here.
I know it. And those are the kinds of things that, you know, even in spite of the stuff that we do that is not fun, right? Because there are some days at the Y's, tell the truth, not as fun as others. But then when you have experiences like that, and particularly now, especially when we're getting back to things like this where we're actually together, it's not online, people are getting back to proximity. What does that make you feel hopeful about for the future? Because we've been in reaction mode, doubtful, how we're going to do this, how we're going to get past this. But things like this start to make people feel hopeful again. What makes you feel hopeful about?
It makes me realize, it makes me first of all appreciate what we actually were able to do when we weren't together in that hard time, and we were able to do amazing, great stuff.
Yes, indeed.
So for me, it just makes me think, holy moly, like what are we going to be able to do now that we are together and we can feed off each other and support each other in a way more personal way that feeds our souls. Like, we did great things. We're going to do the most amazing things in the world together. That's how I'm leaving here is. And gosh, it's been fun to see people.
I love that optimism.
Smile and hug and laugh, and sometimes
wear cute gold shoes on the red carpet.
Oh, y'all should have
seen
come
her.
through the other day.
And she knew exactly where to stand on the red carpet to get the right picture.
Right.
That wasn't her first time.
She hit that thing right to the side, that gold metallic was sparkling like that. And then she threw that hint of the lights coming on at the bottom of
the bottom of the shoes lit up, y'all. And then she looked dead at the photographer and said, I see you seeing me seeing you.
Click, click.
Get that perfect angle, perfect shoe pick. Was so classic and on time. It was so excited.
I mean, we talked about a lot of great things, but like, what is that brag moment? Like when that reporter's coming to you like, yeah, I got one for you. What's that brag moment that you talk about our movement?
There's so many of them.
I know.
And you know, if you pick one, then the other people are like, why she didn't brag on my home?
Not just that brag moment. Like, what is that great thing that we do that, you know what? Okay. More of us as leaders need to do that in our own local space. I mean, you own it for the global, the global part right there.
Yeah.
My more recent, I had a recent brag moment. I had the opportunity to meet with a high-level executive from TD Bank. She's opening up all the new bank branches on the East Coast of the United States. Enormous responsibility. And my brag moment with her, and I'm gonna steal from my friend Dory McWhorton. Has she been on here?
Not yet.
Okay.
Dory, if you're listening,
Chicago.
Stop acting like that, Dory. We're a little stalkerish right now.
We had an exchange in the hall earlier this morning, and she was talking about she loved all the videos that she's seen here so far, and she said, oh my God, I love them because they tell the story of all that we do. There's no one thing that we do. And so when I was meeting with this exec from TV, she was telling me, she kind of tells me, you know, what a lot of people say, oh yeah, my kid learned to swim in the Y, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, we saved your kid's life when they learned to swim in the Y. But, and I said, she said, well, what are you excited about? Kind of similar question. And I said, let me tell you, and I'm going to tell a story tomorrow about a Y, so I'm not going to tell this story. But I said, you would be so surprised at the holistic approach really Ys take in serving the most important needs in their communities. And that's what Dory and I were talking about. Like, the number one thing that we do better than anybody else is to understand what our community needs and then give our community that. And it's more than one thing. And to be able to tell that story, I love to tell people after I hear their experience at the Y, well, let me tell you about Ys that, like, they're the center of their community. They're the center of their community because they listen to their community and they're giving their community what their community asked and said they needed with their community. Those are my favorite stories of the Y.
I love it.
And it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. I mean, I talked to one of our leaders of a small Y he's in like small town in Georgia, and he's like the champion of food insecurity in his town. I mean, he does everything else, but nobody else in his community would focus on food insecurity. And his Y is leading that. And like, that's a brag moment.
Doing amazing things. I love it. The OJ said it, getting people what they want.
We have more brag moments than...
We should brag.
We should brag.
We should absolutely.
So so we got leaders all different areas. Like, how do we brag more? Like, what's the thing that we should be doing more to be able to brag about the things? Because sometimes we just church mouths quiet about the work that we do. We just stay in the grind mode and we go day in and day out and doing the movement type of work. But, like, how do we, you know?
I think it starts with, and I know this is easier said than done for sure. I mean, especially if you're operating a Y. Like, you're trying to make everything inside hum. But we have to get outside of our Ys as well, and we have to be in conversations in our communities where we may not have been. I think part of it is we've got enough to brag on, we just don't go the places to brag. And what I really mean is we need to be looking at how we get out and build partnerships. When I was leading the United Way in Tampa, I joined the Economic Development Council of Tampa Bay. I was the only nonprofit leader in that room with the exception of the head of the university. And it was because I saw those were the relationships that I needed to build to advance the social impact work that I wanted. Like I needed those business leaders. I want to see more Ys at tables, sitting with the Chamber of Commerce, sitting with economic development, because those are the places to brag. And those are the places to get people to invest in your work and to be your partner.
It allows you to go deeper.
Especially now when data is telling us since the pandemic, people are much more mindful consumers. This whole idea of mindful consumption is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And way more people now are interested in interfacing with and paying for and being a part of businesses and organizations and the such that are making an impact. And if they don't know the impact we're making, then can they make that conscientious choice, right, to be a part of the YMCA?
I have yet to be in a conversation with someone like this woman from TD. She said, I want to talk about how we can be part of that community building work that you're doing.
Yeah.
It is rare that someone, after we talk about and I can share the stories, they're like, wow, I want to be a part of that.
And I would have been like, me too. I want you to be a part of it. Like, keep moving the comma. Thank you. To the left.
Right.
I appreciate that.
But one may say that, Susanne, you the president. I mean, you can get in the door of anybody. So to the aquatic director, to the program director, like, what does it look like for them to move in a space to help them to get outside of the Y?
Well, I've never worked in a Y, like
right,
I have to be transparent, but I have worked in other community-based organizations, but I've never worked in, I think the Y has a set of assets that few other nonprofit organizations have, and that is its members and the parents of its program participants, and those are people in the community that have networks and connections, and are we asking them? I mean, I have visited so many Ys when I'm on the wellness floor, and I see the staff interacting, and they'll say, hey, it's good to see you, Mr. Robinson, how you doing? And then he'll walk by and he'll say, oh, he's head of the local bank, or he's the editor in the newspaper. I'm like, you know them.
Right.
I mean, do we have the mindset to think about, about, hey, Mr. Robinson, you know what? Can I talk to you about this work we're doing and how you might help us with
it? That's good.
I think we sit on a gold mine of relationships. People who come in and we have to have the mindset to think about how we grow those relationships in new ways.
That's good. Helping the young or the nascent YMCA professional know that it's closer than you think. It's not this far off, really nebulous idea. It is closer. It is embedded in the work you do every day.
You're friends with Mr. Robinson.
With Mr. Robinson. I don't even know Mr. Robinson, and I got bills I pay to that bank.
There's been times that have happened. I'm like, you know who? Do you know?
Did you just call the mayor Eric? What is happening here?
I mean, how many people? I've met so many Ys. They'll say, oh, you know, Senator so-and-so or the ambassador so-and-so works out here. I'm like, are you talking to him?
Are you serious?
I'm like, let me, 6:30, okay.
Let me get this treadmill right next to him, headband and all.
You ain't going towards that
I'm
treadmill.
not. I probably would just stand by the one he on. But you know what I mean.
Hey, look, this has been incredible.
You can come by with like a bottle of water or something.
Because that's so my lane. I ain't working out. Unless I got cute workout shoes, then I think about it.
Girl, you're so crazy. Hey, it's been a pleasure.
As usual.
This has been dynamic.
Yes,
I know y'all want to maul her afterwards, ask questions and stuff. I'm not sure you know if you had time or not, but she's moving from place to place. Y'all probably see her all over the place. But make sure you're in the general session to make sure you hear this keynote, because it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be fire. We're going to learn what's our next step and where we're headed at.
Yeah, and congratulate her on what is now 17,065 hours.
Okay.
Of being a legend, the first, right? Female president and CEO of YMCA of the USA. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
Before we check out though, y'all show some love for Lachey Leonard back there in the back.
Hey, Lachey.
Lachey makes it sound so good all the time. Ms. Ross, take us out there.
And thank you all for taking a minute and coming and sitting with us here at the Causenetic podcast. Yes. On 17,064.
Hey, look, any platform that y'all listen to podcasts, go out there, subscribe, and listen to us weekly.
And give us all the 5-star reviews, especially for my shoes.
And as always,
be dynamic,
be phenomenal,
and be Causenetic.